As the massive oil platform continued to burn late this afternoon, leaning closer to the water with every hour, Coast Guard rescuers scoured the Gulf of Mexico for 11 missing workers. Within minutes of the explosion, the Coast Guard sent helicopters to pull injured workers from the platform as the fire raged through the night and into the morning.
The oil spill will break up. I'm not trying to minimize it here. But we do have all these, the ecology does take care of itself. The planet does. While the panic? Oh, a crisis. Well, it's going to break up. It's not going to be a giant glob when it hits, but it's going to pose problems. I'm not saying it's not going to pose problems, but he's saying that as it breaks up, it will break down. Seawater is pretty tough stuff. Try living in it for a while. Oil has a tough time surviving. I mean, there's this many gallons of oil seep from the floor of the Gulf of Mexico every day, just spread out over the whole floor of the Gulf, and it never surfaces because it gets eaten alive.
This spill now is thought to is going to be in excess of what happened with Exxon Valdez.
Let's see if that happens. Let's see if that happens.
Well, okay.
I mean, there's a good question today if you're standing down there on the Gulf, and that is, where's the oil?
Where's the oil?
It's not on, except for little chunks of it. You're not even seeing it on the shores yet.
But there are some new reports that there are greater amounts of it on the ocean floor.
Yes, that's true. But you know where the greatest source of oil that seeps into the ocean is? It's from natural seepage from subterranean deposits.
A wide, dark band of trouble near Pasalutra. Oil now as far into the marsh as you can see.
This is what could choke the cycle of life here in the coastal wetlands. Louisiana's sweet crude.
Where's the oil?
Threatening the first link in the food chain.
Food that nourishes 400 species of fish and wildlife. Walking near the oil-stained sand on Grand Isle, Phil and Laura Ferris fear they'll lose their beach.
Where's the oil?
Got this reddish tint.
Still incredibly sticky. And then when the water recedes, you can see the oil's sheen.
Before you can see it, you can smell oil near the rigs 12 miles out. And in the water, traces of the trouble to come.
Here, 14 miles from Northeast Pass, we are surrounded by water with a noticeably heavy sheen, and we are seeing our first small pieces of oil and dispersant.
At the 16-mile mark, the waves have a sickening red cast. No longer glistening, they are dulled by the crude. The oil here is a brownish red and forms huge rivers in the ocean. Our captain says the Gulf is bleeding.
26 miles out, the Gulf is a toxic soup with a vile aroma.
Where's the oil?
The oil is everywhere.
It is a Red Sea with patches of blue. But as we get closer to the site, the oil is back to a thick sheen as far as you can see.
But the time for committee hearings is for after the well has been capped, not before.
With frustration mounting, that is a moment that can't come soon enough for all involved. Mike Vicara, NBC News, the White House.
Now the oil is surging miles up and into the marsh. More than 65 miles of some of the most beautiful coastline in the United States now affected. The damage spread across 3 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. 750,000 gallons of chemical dispersant, and that's a story in itself, have been poured into the Gulf to try to break up the slick, which is now the size of Delaware and Rhode Island combined.
We headed out to the leak site and found a toxic soup in the Gulf of Mexico. Enormous rivers of oil and dispersant on the surface and underneath 16 miles from the coast. 26 miles out, the Gulf is a Red Sea. It is bleeding oil.
This many gallons of oil seep from the floor of the Gulf of Mexico every day,